Yeah, okay. So I just go till I run out a little bit on this, and then it's when I sort of run out, okay, just in my own thought stream or concentration stream, then I move on to the next factor. You can always come back and go over things and rework them. But here we have the descendant. The descendant again. It has it trines the Uranus and the Jupiter, but it squares the Neptune. So this is the relationship: how you take impressions in, how you respond to other people. How is she going to respond? Usually kindly or with compassion or sorrow. Pisces is there; it's emotional. And there's going to be many ways she's trying to react. I got to adapt this. She's going to be very perceptive. Pisces, perceptive, manipulative, but how she reacts. But she's got to take in the sad stories, the difficult stories. She's got to see everybody who needs to be helped, or who has this problem or that problem. And when she does, she's going to work. She's going to see it. She's going to work to fix it, to try and make it better. You know, if the husband came home tired or sad or upset, she would instantly know it and try and figure out how do you cheer him up, how do you get it working. But again, this is a good quality for taking in impressions from others. It's good for a consultant, but there's a confusion here from Neptune. So Neptune hits all the angles. So you get the sense there's different worlds. There's one world how she would react clearly, a career. There's a whole other one of what's expected of her from family, from brothers and sisters, from other people. So the need to keep things honest and aloof, there's probably in her mind she'll have different pockets. If these pockets, this is the Pisces. I have this pocket, this is this family, this is work, these are my friends. She'll have it in different places, and she's different in each place, or she can think differently in each place. But the ability to think that Neptune is there and affecting the descendant. This is the puzzle here is really about having to be honest and clear. A little half-truth, a little wrong story could come up and affect the ascendant, affect the descendant, gossip, just mess everything up. What other people are saying, somebody's talking about this, someone's talking about what should I do? This is the biggest, that would be really negatively affected by that. So there's a need to keep studying, keep working on what one's doing, and not being distracted by everyone else demanding attention. To find the people who are inspired, her friends, to go with the friends, to work with it. But the descendant is trying to, so even if she gets married, she's supposed to have abundance of friends and not lose her friends from marriage. She should be able to keep them, and that would keep everything working properly. If she stayed just at home and was only related to the husband, the Neptune factor would come in stronger, and there'd be expectations that would end up being smothering or guilt-ridden, which would then go in and sink in, affect the motivation, affect the projection, affect what's accomplished. So it's interesting that in this chart you get the sense that business and home should not mix. You know, there's the keeping them separate, but you can't change home, but you don't have to be smothered or brought down by it. You still have to do your own thing, even if you're not being supported. You just have to be smart enough to do it in a way that works for you. Now, okay, I'm just going to come back to the chart and put these down. I'm going to put these down here for a minute. Okay, we've pretty well done the main points in the chart. The only other thing we haven't done is the signs on the house cusps. So, and I use these sometimes. They're not the first priority because you have the signs going through the houses one way, you have the planets coming up through the houses the other way, and things really move from the IC to the ascendant to the midheaven. And technically, the houses, like in traditional astrology, the houses are made the ascendants for the first house, the second house cuspis for the second house, third house cuspis for the third house. But it's possible they could work the other way too. So they, like the fourth house cuspis, your motivation from where you're taking in and how you begin to express out, what you begin to express out. The second house cusp, the third house cusp could be going into the second house, and the leap. So it can go either way. Anyway, I'm not getting into this now. It's enough to look at, we'll just take it in the traditional way. The second house of money resources is ruled by Libra. It's got Libra there. Shared resources, you think are wanting to have nice things. It's ruled by Venus. So the rulership of Venus, the second house, which has all these, the need to have certain resources, but the changeable nature of money is not going to find the stable one type work. The work that has changed. It might be a couple of jobs and jump from one to the other. That would suit the Gemini midheaven, but the moon fits that for resources, independent resources, Venus. But the Venus that would rule that, it's in Capricorn, cautious. There's not enough money. It's serious. It's inhibited. It's squared by Pluto, which is confrontation. So she said, I want to do something. Will I ever have the money to? I'll never do it. I'm going to have to put it here. I'll never get permission to do it. There's a fear that comes into using the money. So there's a fear of having it be naturally changeable, having the skills and change it. No, I better take the straight job. I better have this, that money. If I have this all anchored in, how could I risk the other? So these are two factors coming in. The planets, the moon and Uranus in the second house, are not moving in that direction. But if the fear came in and predominated, the worry would be, I need to have some resources, so I have to take this job because it will pay me. I can't leave that to do what I want because I need to have that security. So you could easily talk herself into having to have money or having to have this, because the Venus, which rules the second house, is afflicted. It's got the fearful, harsh Pluto aspect. Nobody will love me, so I better be like this. I better take my second choice, not my first choice. And Venus is also about choices, so there's a tendency to be cautious, modest, inhibited a little bit, making cautious choices, modest, reserved choices. And those cautious, practical choices will come to affect that rulership. The Venus rulership will come to affect the attitude to dealing with money. So you have the tendency to be cautious and practical, but the need to be diverse and the need to be expressive and doing one's own thing. So this contrast is part of the struggles of a lifetime. I got to get out of it. I can't just, for some periods of time, I might hold into fear. I got to have the money. I got to do just this. But sooner or later, you can't sell out. And the intelligence comes in and she has to do some things that she's looking at. So she might have a straight job and then have to have another job that's doing what she wants to do on the side. So we get just the hints. We can't define it so you're like this. You're seeing potentials that could be, we're just adding some flowers or leaves on the tree that we've already built up. When we look at the third house of communications, brothers and sisters, we saw Neptune was in it. And we have this intrigue, or it's a belief system. It could be an innuendo, could be intrigue, could be prejudice, could be confusion about brothers and sisters trying to tell her how she can express herself. It's very imaginative, it's very creative, but Scorpio's there. So there's a very judgmental side to what's right or wrong. So brothers and sisters would be very judgmental about how she thought or talked. And she might, the belief factor, she would have to find her own belief, her own understanding in the midst of this judgmental side. So the judgmental side of Scorpio, have to be trustworthy, have to be able to hear me, listen to me, what's real, is ruled by Mars, which is over in the sixth house, the need to express and be creative with what one knows, to act on what I have to act on my nose. Don't get in my way. This is what I know. There's a tendency to be forceful in expressions. More forceful, there's a tendency to be forceful before being believing. So she gets started an argument and then we have the complication and the guilt of having to fix it for the next period of time. But she's not going to give up on the truth. Again, a puzzle, contradictory information here. So she gets motivated by understanding. She gets to understanding. She goes to put her beliefs out. She understands it. She sees what's going. She sees a belief out. She puts it intensely. The minute someone challenges it, there's going to be a battle. She's got Scorpio. This is real. And someone's going, no, it's not. And there'll be struggles around it. And she'll either get the prejudice or she'll be evasive or fanatical around it. But in some way or another, she's done this her whole life. So we're talking about this how it would probably, we're really trying to tune in. She's being it. This is normal for her. So we're having to tune in to see how she's actually managing, how she integrates this, how she puts her energy out. So areas of the third house, confusion, education, Neptune there, maybe it's not practical, maybe it's more artistic or socially conscious. It's not She's not inclined to make the practical midheaven decisions. She wants to be more independent, more aloof, and be more adventurous with the thing. But when it would be guilt-ridden, it implodes in a whole other way. So if you can imagine this can work positively or negatively, and then you get some pictures how this is going. So she's going to be very intense about what she knows. This is good because it impels her to do research, Scorpio in the third house, to support her knowledge and her need to know, and the need to express what her feelings. So like it works very well in educational and knowledgeable ways.